So in this chapter, we'll be discussing about KYC, a very important topic for your bank interviews. So KYC stands for Know Your Customer. So branch operations are those activities that happen in a branch. Okay, till now we have seen a lot of topics related to companies and all, but in this unit we will be starting a discussion on branch operations, and this will be related mostly to the retail customers. Okay, so branch operations are those activities that happen in a branch. Like for example, you might have gone to the bank on many occasions, like taking a DD for paying your school fees, college fees, or depositing money into your father's account, withdrawing cash using check. All these are branch operations. Okay, and they're very important for your bank interviews because they're very simple and are not complicated, as some of the concepts we discussed earlier. Very simple concepts, so you should be very knowledgeable about normal day-to-day bank activities, and you'll be asking interviews a lot about these topics. So first of all, let us start with KYC. KYC stands for Know Your Customer Guidelines. So banks cannot open accounts for any person who walks into the branch. Okay, just because somebody asks. You should be aware of the importance of banking channels, because they are a conduit, they're a channel for transferring money from one place to another. So if antisocial elements like terrorist organizations or any other person with malafide intentions get in a bank account, just imagine the mayhem they can cause. So someone in some remote part of the country transferring funds to another remote part of the country, they will coordinating transferring money to bank accounts, and that will be very disastrous for the country. Okay, so bank should know the identity of the customer they're going to open the account, and bank RBI has got very strict guidelines, KYC guidelines, okay, for opening bank accounts. So KYC is the process by which banks obtain information about the identity and address of the customers. That's why whenever you open a bank account, they'll be asking for some documents. Okay, that is part of the KYC procedure. So KYC procedure is to be completed by all banks when opening accounts, and not only that, even after account is open, periodically they have to update, usually like once in 3 years or so, they have to update the latest KYC details of the customers. So KYC requirements for opening a bank account will be like proof of identity and proof of address. 2 documents you have to submit. However, there are some documents that, for example, like Aadhaar card, which serves both the dual purpose of identity and address proof. Okay, and along that we have to also submit a recent photograph. So government has prescribed 6 documents as officially valid documents. So these are the documents officially recognized as proof of identity and proof of address. Okay, so these 6 documents are passport, driving license, voter's identity card, PAN card, Aadhaar card, and NREGA job card. Okay, so you need to submit any one of these documents as proof of identity. Okay, and if these documents also contain your address, like for example Aadhaar card, then that will be sufficient as proof of address also. Okay, in case the document submitted by you doesn't contain address, for example like PAN card, then you have to submit another officially valid document which contains address details. So as mentioned above, remember that you can open a bank account with only Aadhaar card. That is sufficient because it is both a proof of address and identity. Also remember that in rural areas many people do not have any of these documents, and government doesn't want to deny banking services to those people. So even without these any of these 6 documents, an account can still be open, but that will be what is known as a small account. There will be some restrictions on the account. So those, like for example, the balance at any point of time should not exceed 50,000. Total credits in a year should not exceed 1 lakh. Total withdrawals or transfer should not exceed in a month 10,000. Foreign remittances cannot be created. Okay, so such restrictions are there, and they will be allowed for a period of 12 months. Beyond that period, the account holder has to submit proof that they have applied for one of these documents, and in which case it will be extended. So one common question in interviews is married women name will be changed usually in India. After marriage, the name will be changed, and they will be not having any officially valid document in the new name. Okay, so can such people open account? So a copy of marriage certificate issued by the state government or gazette notification, including indicating change in name, together with a certified copy of the officially valid document in the past name, that will be acceptable for opening of account. Okay, in case of persons who change their name, there's something also called e-KYC. E-KYC refers to electronic KYC. This is possible only for those who have Aadhaar numbers. So while using e-KYC, you have to authorize the authority, that is the Unique Identification Authority of India, that they can release your identity or address through biometric authentication to bank branches or business correspondence. and then your data will be transferred, like a name, age, gender, photograph will be to the bank. Okay, so that will be sufficient as a official valid document. It's a valid process of KYC. If you speak to people of an earlier generation, like your parents or grandparents, they'll tell you that in their days, to open a bank account, bank used to ask for introduction by an existing customer. Okay, so if you want to open an account in some branch, okay, so you have to be introduced by some other customer, existing customer of that branch. But now that introduction is not necessary. Okay, and also we earlier said absence of KYC can lead to antisocial elements like terrorists misusing bank services. But it's not only such people, even normal citizens can misuse. Okay, for example, if banks don't watch large amount transactions, there's scope for misuse. Okay, so why would people get large amounts? If there's a genuine reason, that's okay, but you should be careful. Bank should be monitoring. Somebody comes and deposits 1 crore or 10 crores, 100 crores. Banks just can't keep quiet. Okay, so you have to question the source of funds. So identification of the individual is very important. Okay, and as per rules, PAN number is to be quoted for all transactions above 50,000. So if you deposit any amount above 50,000 in cash, then banks will ask for your PAN number. Okay, so all these checks are put in place, and KYC is also not only applicable for normal bank accounts, even for credit cards and debit cards also it's applicable. Debit cards anyway, on opening of savings account they'll be provided, so separate KYC is not required. But for credit cards, KYC process is also required. And even for DDs, you must have taken DDs for various purposes like paying fees and all. So bank might not have asked you for KYC because that is a small amount. But if DD is for above 50,000, then banks are now issuing such DDs only by way of debiting customers' account. Okay, through checks and not by cash. Sometimes banks also sell third-party insurance products, mutual funds, and other products. So customers who do not have accounts with the bank, okay, they have to produce this KYC process for 50,000 and above transactions. Then there is a process of updating KYC. You might have got these calls from your bank asking for KYC, even though you are already an existing customer. Even though you have provided KYC, sometimes, say once in 3 years or all like that, you get a call from the bank asking to update the KYC. So that is required. That is a part of the process because KYC records have to be periodically updated. This is a part of the due diligence process. And what it helps is because change of address is common. You might have to change address and all. Okay, and the periodicity of that updation varies with the risk perception. So in case of high risk customers, okay, it has to be done at least once in 2 years. For medium risk person, once in 8 years, and for low risk customers, it is once in 10 years. Okay, and with periodic updation has to be carried out even for low risk customers. But if there is no change in status with respect to identity or address, then just a self-certification that no change in status can be given at time of updation. And also change of address in case of low risk customers, they can merely forward a certified copy of the document, proof of address. Okay, so physical presence for low risk customers, okay, physical presence is not required at time of periodic updation. So what happens if you don't provide KYC documents at time of updation? Then bank has the option to close your account. But before closing the account, bank will first of all impose a partial freezing. That means they will allow all credits, but they will not allow debits. Okay, then later at the next level, even credits will be stopped. Okay, of course they will be giving due notice. So this is the steps that banks can take if you don't update your KYC. So in this chapter, the questions need to be prepared. What is full form of KYC? Why should banks know the identity of their customers to open account? What is meant by KYC process? What are the 6 officially valid documents? We discussed this. Can bank account be opened with only Aadhaar card as both proof of identity and proof of address? Yes. Is it possible to open bank account even without any of the 6 officially valid documents? Yes. Small account can be opened. What are some differences between small account and other accounts we discussed? The balance in small account should not exceed how much at any point of time. The total credits should not exceed how much in 1 year. Total withdrawals should not exceed how much in 1 month. All this we discussed. Can foreign remittances be credited into small account? No. How can married women whose name has changed open account if they do not have any officially valid document in the new name? That we discussed. What is meant by e-KYC? That also we discussed. What is the transaction amount beyond which one has to furnish PAN number? That is 50,000. Is KYC applicable for getting credit cards also? Yes, it is required. Will bank issue DD for 75,000 if you pay by cash? No. Up to 50,000 they will issue DD by cash, but beyond that, they will debit your bank account. It's only through checks. What is the frequency of KYC updation for high risk customers? That is at least once in 2 years. And what action will bank take if you do not provide your KYC documents at the time of periodic updation? First of all, they will impose a partial freezing, and then they can even close down the account.